guys, it's me, Meteor, and welcome to another edition of What is Kirby Canon? Today we're going to be talking about King Dedede and Bandana Dee. A lot of people think of King Dedede as the main villain of the Kirby series, similar to Mario and Bowser, Samus and Ridley, Star Fox and Andross. But there really was only one game where King Dedede really was evil, and that was of course the first in Kirby's Dream Land. All the other times, he was basically just Kirby's main rival. In fact, the only other game I could think of where he was a villain was maybe Revenge of the King from Kirby Superstar Ultra, and even then, he still gave Kirby a hammer to fight him fairly, showing he was actually doing it more of a rivalry rather than an actual villain. That being said, King Dedede is no hero. He's greedy, and he's lazy. In fact, in the original game where he was a villain, he stole all the food in Dreamland. Not just some of it, all of it. Despite all those flaws, however, King Dedede still has quite a heart, even if he doesn't really want to admit it. Even though King Dedede has a long-standing grudge against Kirby, he's still able to put his differences aside when the world is at stake. For example, King Dedede launched Kirby up in the air to fight Nightmare. He actually teamed up with Kirby in Kirby 64, knowing full well how big of a threat Dark Matter was. He actually teamed up with Kirby Meta Knight and Bandana Dee to take down Magolor, or rather, save Magolor, but, you know, things happen. And of course, free Kirby from Sectonia's Vine in Triple Deluxe. Regarding the times we did face King Dedede, it was usually because of a misunderstanding, possessed by Dark Matter, possessed by Dark Matter, possessed by Dark Matter. There are other times too which are also out of his control, but you get the point. Regarding that whole issue with Tyranza, according to the Dedede clone's descriptions, we've actually realized that Dedede actually developed a fear from that whole situation of a certain insect. Now we may have discussed a lot about King Dedede in general, but we've never really talked about King Dedede on a real personal level, because we never really knew one until Revenge of the King from Kirby Superstar Ultra. If you know anything about the King, you would know that he has a whole bunch of Waddle Dee servants. However, there is one Waddle Dee that stands out that he has a personal connection with. This, of course, is Bandana Dee. There wasn't much dialogue in this game, however the only dialogue that was in this game was between the King and Bandana Dee himself. After Kirby defeated all the mini-bosses that the King sent at him, the King actually asked Waddle Dee to go fight as well. Bandana Dee cried and claimed he couldn't fight Kirby himself, so King Dedede actually spared him. He cared enough about that one Waddle Dee to spare him from facing Kirby. So then the King head off to grab his secret weapon. But while he was doing that, Waddle Dee still decided to fight Kirby after all because he was just that loyal to the King and he meant that much to him. This of course was before the days he got himself some spear training and fought Kirby completely unarmed and lost miserably. Once that's over and done with, we head into the final room for the final battle. But notice what King Dedede says before the battle begins and you grab the hammer. He says, "Our grudge will be settled at last." It seems even Dedede is getting sick of this grudge and actually just wants to end it. He wants to finally take all his anger out in one go and defeat Kirby once and for all. And you could even see Bandana Dee there in the background cheering King Dedede on every time he actually hits Kirby. Of course, he just isn't able to beat Kirby and gets knocked out of the castle yet again. And then we see a very depressing cutscene that shows him walking by, depressed, just knowing he can't defeat the guy. Thankfully, all the Waddle Dees are there to try and cheer him up, just walk behind him, knowing that they'll be loyal to him through all time, no matter what happens. I should mention one last game the King actually made an appearance in, and that was Kirby Fighters Deluxe. I'm not sure how canon this is, but if you fight King Dedede on very hard, you look at the pause description, and it even says that this is his last shot at revenge. So this may be the last time we actually have a good old-fashioned duel with the King himself, willingly. In terms of Bandana Dee, we haven't really seen too much more of him. We saw him help out in Return to Dreamland, and we saw him also help out in Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. But outside of that, we haven't really gotten any other story for him. But hey, at least now he has spear training. In any case, with that, we have talked about everything there is to talk about between King Dedede and Bandana Dee. Next time, for real, we'll be talking about Haltman and Stardream for the 10th episode. See you guys next time.